In today's episode, we are sharing exactly how we've earned over 1 million points in the last 9 months without spending anywhere close to $1 million. Hi, I'm Rhea.
And I'm Dwayne.
And we are your hosts of the Travel Party of 5 podcast, where we share how we travel as a family of 5 around the world.
We will also share how we use points and miles to travel as affordably as possible and sometimes even completely free.
So if you're wanting to travel more with your family, but you're not sure how, we'd love for you to listen in.
So welcome to our podcast where we hope you learn a thing or two to get you closer to your next trip.
Hello, welcome back. Hi, friends.
Hello. So glad to catch you here.
Stop it. Oh,
It's going to be a quick and short and sweet episode.
A quicken?
Quicken.
So when this episode airs, we will be enjoying our time in Kauai, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
But I
don't bring that bad juju around me.
I just realized that we have now officially earned over 1 million points so far this year alone. And so I thought we would briefly share like what cards we've opened so far and talk a little bit about what cards are on our radar to open next, because for a Points and Miles podcast, we don't actually spend a ton of time talking about specific cards. And so I thought that could be like really helpful actually. And my hope is that by sharing the cards that we've opened and explaining our thought process, it'll help you to start thinking about trips you could take and show you like one way to approach this hobby. Because I think like one of the hardest things about doing points and miles is knowing how to redeem the points. And I think if you go into it with a plan for redeeming them, it just makes it so much easier, you know?
Yes, always got to have a plan.
Well, and like some people will say, oh, just earn all the flexible points you can, and then you can decide how to use them. And like, yes, that's fine and good and works for some people. But I think it can also be super overwhelming and lead to people hoarding their points and never using them, which as a side note is bad because your points lose value over time. And that's why we earn them and burn them.
I had a coworker ask me how we keep track of, what we spend and the points we get, and I told him we just do one card at a time.
Yes, and we use the Travel Freely app too.
Yep.
Which I can link in the show notes because it's, in my opinion, the best app out there to keep track of all your cards.
I love it.
It's super. Dwayne's never opened it not one time in his life.
I love it though.
It's super easy though, and it allows me to see both my name and your name, and then I can look at personal cards or business cards or both for each of us. And so it's fantastic. I will link it in the show notes because if you are doing points and miles, you should have this app. And if you don't, you should get it.
Sorry. Does it alert you when we spend on it?
It doesn't alert me when we spend, but it alerts me when an annual fee is coming up. It alerts me when a bonus deadline is coming up. If I haven't gone in and marked that we've like reached it already.
That's very helpful.
Super helpful. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So going back to what I was saying is basically, I just think that the better way to do this when you're starting out is to have a specific trip in mind. And then that's your starting point. So for example, if you wanted to go to like Hawaii, first you would pick an island, then you'd search how to fly there from wherever you live. And if it were me, I would be looking for direct flights. And then once you know what major airlines fly there directly, you can start to figure out how to earn points to book flights on those airlines. And then same for hotels. You would look up like where you want to stay on whatever island you've chosen and then figure out how to earn points to stay at that hotel. As a side note, a tip here that a website that I like to use to look for points options in a certain area is called Awayz. So AWAYZ. And basically you can just type in where you want to go and it will show you what points options are available to you during your dates in that area.
Another app I love.
Bless your heart and soul. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm going to go quickly through the cards that we have opened so far this year. I'll start with all the cards Dwayne opened. He put his blood, sweat, and tears into all these applications.
Yep. It's tough, but someone's got to do it.
Basically, that means he opened up his email and saw, oh, you've been approved for a credit card. Okay, so those cards are, in order, the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited, the Chase Inc. Business Preferred, the City Advantage Business World Elite MasterCard, and the Barclays Advantage Aviator Red World Elite MasterCard. Man, why do they name these cards like such long names?
I didn't even catch the last one.
It's a Barclays Advantage card. Basically, the City Advantage and the Barclays Advantage were purposely to earn American Airlines miles for our flights to Japan on Japan Airlines.
I don't even know if I've seen that card. Do I have that card?
Probably not. It's probably on my desk. And then the Chase United Business Card was the most recent card that you've opened. And that was one I opened for you in a panic when I thought we were going to go to Yellowstone next summer. And I was like, oh my gosh, we need to book flights and we don't have points to book these flights. And so I panic opened this for you. And now we're not going to go to Yellowstone until 2026, I think. So it's fine. We'll just keep those points for something else or use them when we go. And then, so that's like I think those are all, no, some of those are personal. Yeah. So that's a mix of business and personal. And then for me, in order, starting like beginning of the year, I've opened an Amex Business Gold, a Chase Inc. Business Cash, a Chase Inc. Business Preferred, and an Amex Business Platinum card. So between those, 9 cards, I think we have earned, let me give you the grand total, 1,045,000 points. And
it's a lot of points.
It's worth noting that doesn't even factor in our referral points. So like every time we open a Chase Inc., either you referred me or I referred you, which at the time was another 40,000 points each card. So it's really well over 1 million. Sadly, the referral is now down to 20,000 points per referral. But it is super doable to earn millions of points without without spending millions of dollars. And I think that's like a misconception people have.
But you do have to spend some money. I mean, it's not.
I mean, you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do. But I mean, our goal is to not spend more than we would normally spend.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just instead of using our debit card, we're using credit cards and we're changing the card we use every time.
Yes.
Okay, so let's kind of talk about maybe some cards that are coming next. At this point, we have all the points that we need to book our 2025 travel. So I would say the majority of the cards that we've opened thus far this year were points used for next year. And so the only thing that we really have left is to book our Japan flights, but we have the points. I just can't book them yet because the availability is not open yet. As a side note, I am going to do an episode on how we booked our Japan trip. I just want it to be fully booked before I do that. And so we're still like a few weeks out from being able to do that. The only thing we don't have booked for 2025 is a trip for just the two of us. And I am not sure when or where that will be.
I wouldn't be mad if we went back to the Grand Cayman.
I mean, I know, but we're probably not going to.
Yeah, need more points.
Beyond that, so I'm thinking about 2026 travel. So like, where do we want to go and what cards will help us get there? And I know that probably sounds insane to some people because it's still 2024. But similar to the way that you would save up money to book a trip, we need to save up the points, especially because there's 5 of us going on the majority of these trips. So we have to earn the points and that just takes time.
Yep.
I do know at the end of next year, we'll be going for 2 Southwest Companion Passes. And so I'm going to aim to do that with business cards as much as I can, but we do have to be aware of our 524 status just in case. We need to open up a personal card as well. And as a reminder, the 524 rule is a Chase rule that basically states that they will not approve you for any credit cards if you have opened up 5 or more credit cards in the last 24 months.
Personal
credit cards. Yep. Yes. Thank you. So currently I am 424 and Dwayne is 324. And I am opening up a personal Hyatt card in the next month or two. That's like our plan to get globalist, or that's part of our plan to get globalist status with Hyatt. So I will be at 524 for a couple months, but then we'll drop back down to 424 in December. And yeah, Dwayne is 324. And so as far as next cards go, Hilton is high on my radar. So 2 weeks ago, we did an episode on where to stay in Phoenix on points. And one of the hotels that we talked about was the Waldorf Astoria, Arizona Biltmore Hotel, which is like a historic hotel here in Phoenix. Since we did that episode, I have actually stayed at that property because I had a work conference there, and it lived up to the hype. Like, it was a beautiful property, a beautiful room, incredible service. And as a side note, when we were waiting to go to dinner one night, Green Day pulled up and was staying there. Green Day. Okay. So if it's good enough for Green Day, it's good enough for me. So let's talk about Hilton cards. Hilton also has, like, beyond that property, Hilton has a ton of properties that are on my bucket list, including one that could be our trip for next year, which is the Hilton, the Waldorf Astoria Los Cabos Pedregal. I think it's what it's called. So it's basically a Waldorf Astoria in Cabo. Cabo is not a far flight for us. And if we could get like 3 or 4 nights there, like, sign me up. One trip that we're potentially thinking about for 2026 is
Belize.
Yes.
And Honduras.
Yes. So I need to go ahead.
I was just going to say, we've heard good things about them. I mean, those places, they wouldn't have been on my list if I didn't hear those things, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And like maybe a few months ago, 6 months ago, we heard about Honduras from like 3 different people.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it was really weird.
So I need to do more research to see if it's feasible to do both Belize and Honduras at the same time. I mean, I'm sure it is feasible, but everything that I've found thus far is from people who were there on a cruise and did each of those as like a cruise stop. And that's not how we would want to do it. So I need to look into that more. But I used that Aways website. And so I know that in Belize, there is both a Marriott and a Hilton that look incredible, like stunning. And I also know that in Roatan, which is where we would likely stay in Honduras, there is a Kimpton, which is IHG, that I've also heard great things about.
Yes.
What I need to figure out is, can we travel from Belize to Honduras or vice versa? And like, how does that work? That's what I need to understand. So based on that, I think that Dwayne's next card is likely going to be a Hilton card, specifically the Hilton Honors American Express Aspire card. So it's a personal card, which is why Dwayne would open first and not me. You get a free night upon opening the card, plus one every year on your card anniversary, and then a second free night if you spend $30,000 on the card, which I don't know if we would do that second part, but
that's a lot.
That's a lot. But this is likely a card that I would also open once I'm under 524. And then we would each have a free night. So that would give us 2 free nights plus whatever the current sign up bonus is, which 175,000 points maybe each. So like, let's say it's 150. So then we would have 300,000 Hilton points plus 2 free night certificates. And so I think that could probably get us 6 nights somewhere. But
I mean, at least 4.
Well, we would need 2. If we used it in Belize, we would need 2 rooms for the 5 of us. So we would probably give us 3 nights there between all that. And the cards also give us diamond status, which is Hilton's highest level of status, and gives free breakfast. So that would also be a big money saver.
Yes.
We will probably also do a Chase Inc. Business Unlimited because there's an elevated offer right now on that for 90,000 points with $6,000 in spend. And we are just consistently opening up Hyatt cards. So that would be, that's probably another one in the near future. And then the other card that I think will open is going to be another IHG card, partly in prep for a Yellowstone trip, summer of 2026. There's a Holiday Inn I think we'll stay at, but also in case we go to Honduras and we stay at the Kimpton Roatan. So here's the thing that I've kind of come to realize about these hotel branded cards specifically is the ones that offer a free night certificate every year are super valuable, but it takes time to build those up. And we've only been doing this like hobby seriously for about 2-ish years, maybe a little longer.
Yes, very new to the game.
And so I really wasn't focused on those cards before. So now my plan for like the next year or two is just to consistently open these hotel branded cards that offer free nights, focusing on, again, Hilton and Marriott, and then maybe IHG. Because especially with Hilton and Marriott, those free nights can be super valuable. Like you can use a Marriott free night cert to stay at like a Ritz-Carlton if it's the right cert. They have different ones. So I think that's going to be our focus for now, is getting more hotel branded cards so that we've built up, hey, this year we'll have a total of 4 free nights we can use at a Hilton, just from holding the cards. Like that's my goal if we can get there. Just going to take some time.
Yep.
So if you're newer to the hobby, I would think about that in your strategy as you're, starting to open cards.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have any questions, find us on Instagram at TravelParty5. Hope that this was a little bit helpful.
Yes. If not, reach out to us. And by us, I mean Rhea.
If you hated it, let me know.
Yeah.
We are always really grateful for reviews on the podcast. It helps more people find us. It helps it be more visible and recommended to more people. So if you do enjoy the podcast and you haven't done so already, we would so appreciate a rating or review. And I think our next episode is going to be part 1 of our Kauai trip. So super excited. And that's what you can look forward to next week.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. We appreciate you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one.
Bye.